we're live like that.
And we are live. We've got about as many topics as last week, actually.
Let's see if we can break the 20-minute mark this week. That's going to be the goal.
Blackmagic announced a 12K video camera. Yes, that's 12K. It's a lot of Ks.
Have you heard what Linus is going to do with 12K cameras?
No.
It's pretty interesting. I'll spoil
Okay, we'll
it
talk about
for the
that.
people who don't watch the WAN show.
Like me?
Yeah, and apparently a lot of other people too.
I used to watch it, but I don't know.
Huh.
A smartphone issue that I haven't seen before. It's an interesting issue that the Google Pixel 4 XL is having.
And I've purposely not looked at this article.
Okay, yeah. I'll be interested to see if you've ever seen this happen.
I didn't even look at the link until you said exactly what the link says. I was like, ah.
Yeah. Microsoft Flight Sim will likely not have VR support at release, but they may add it in later. We talked about Microsoft Flight Sim a little bit last week. A Zoom for home device that seems like a little bit overkill to me. It seems like something
over-engineered.
It seems overpriced.
Okay.
Overpriced, over-engineered, and just too much for you to have at home. Then we've got Microsoft to launch a cloud gaming service, Project xCloud, later this year in September.
And that might go with an article I found about Microsoft taking Minecraft off the Amazon Web Services. Apparently, Microsoft wants to stop giving their competitor money to host their games. So,
funny how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they were hosting stuff on Amazon Web Services, because that's literally a direct competitor of them.
Yeah.
Of Azure.
Then we have Windows. Don't update it again, because every update seems to be breaking it. And to fix it, just edit your registry, is what you're told.
Simple, right?
Yeah, everyone does it. And then if you want to make an explosive battery, just hack the firmware, apparently. Don't use
what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, don't use chargers you find laying around, I guess.
Oh. I don't use a name brand charger.
Oh man, really?
Well, actually, I take that back. Because I got a new phone, it came with a charger, so I probably am using a name brand charger.
I'm using a name brand. I can't think of the name brand. It's the big brand that everyone uses for chargers. We actually see it real fast. QC charger. What's that name?
QC, is that like Walgreen brand or something like that?
QC is the Quick Charge. They're Quick Charge 3.0s.
Oh, gotcha.
And I know that they're the top result on Amazon. It's almost like a bot, though. Yeah, it's almost like that's why. They're just Qualcomm, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, they just say Qualcomm on them, but I have no idea. They're the top quick charge. Anyways, not the point. The point is, 12K is what we'll be streaming at next week, right? It's the new thing.
Probably none of our viewers have a 12K display.
But you can enjoy all.
I don't even know how many 4K displays that would be. That would be.
It'd be a 3x3.
I don't even know how many 4K displays.
Because it'd be 4, 8, 12.
Something like that.
So you'd have to have 9 4K screens.
That would be expensive.
No.
At $300 a pop, sounds pretty expensive. So yeah, Blackmagic Design announced its first 12K video camera, the Ursa Mini Pro 12K. Wow, the Mini Pro.
Yeah, not the big 4K one, the mini 4K.
Yeah.
Or mini 12K.
Yeah, right. It has a 12,000 by 6,000, more or less, pixel sensor.
So one of the cool parts about this is that it's a 12K, but I believe at 12K it can do 60 FPS.
Yes, which is pretty crazy.
That's nuts. And then it can do 8K at 110 FPS or 4K at 220, which is wild.
Yeah.
I hate that they just missed the marks for 120 and 240. That had to have hurt.
That's really interesting. Yeah.
Like, you think,
Huh.
because if they could have made the mark by making the camera
Mhm.
slightly bigger to slightly dissipate the heat faster on the sensor, you think they would
Yeah.
have done it to hit the mark.
You would think, although to be fair, no one has an 8K
120 FPS
1020.
screen.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Or a 4K at whatever.
Yep.
But the point is not to use the 12K video, but it's to either be able to crop a video or be able to pan around a video that you've already recorded, like after the fact. So it makes sense.
Crazy camera smoothness.
True that, yeah.
Especially if you can do the 4K at 220 FPS.
Mm-hmm.
You can have it super smooth, and then you take away all vibrations and any type of movement on it. But it looks wild. One thing in the WAN show Linus was talking about is he went ahead and ordered 6 of these.
6 of these? Holy
6
cow,
of
that
them.
guy has so much money. I mean, it's a company, don't get me wrong, but
It's like 60,000.
wow. Actually, that doesn't sound that much compared to some of the stuff he's built.
Yeah, right? And he's working on a rig for 4 of them to shoot at 24K. 60 FPS.
Why?
You would have to have...
For YouTube clicks?
Yeah, for YouTube clicks. You would have to have 6 4K TVs by 6 4K TVs.
Wow.
36 4K
That's insane.
TVs. Just to view all the pixels. I think that'd be amazing. I think the coolest part of that would be for a video, so like in a movie, to get like the real zoom action. So if they could film it in 24K, and then in post processing they can actually just zoom, like keep zooming in on a little portion of the screen, almost like how people do it on Google Maps, where they're like, and it zones in on something, or they use a big crane to move a camera in. They could just do that with just
the camera.
just the camera, just taking a normal shot. It's like, ta-da!
Yeah. Or if there could be some kind of 12K video, and as you're watching it on your 1080p or 4K display or whatever, you could zoom in, like using a controller, a game controller or something, to focus on part of the scene. It might be good for something. I think for movies it wouldn't be the greatest, because then you might get distracted by something that's not important and kind of miss the entire point of the scene. But
yeah,
I'm sure there's something that could be done there.
But I think I'll be sticking to 1080 60 FPS for a good while.
You're not gonna drop the 10,000?
Nah.
By the first production run?
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
9,995. We're saving $5.
Right. I'll keep the $5. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big deal.
That's crazy.
The other crazy.
I wonder if that even comes with a lens.
It would have to come with that lens. There's no way.
Maybe. That's amazing. All right, you ready to see the smartphone issue that I hadn't seen before?
I'm always ready to see a smartphone issue. It's something about glass from the thing you spoiled about it.
But it's the glass on the back of the phone.
Okay. Oh, I see. It's like a Bendgate all over again.
Yeah. So the glass back phones, that's like the watermark of a high quality phone. Yeah. And in this case, it's peeling off.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
I don't even know what kind of back my phone has on it, actually. It's probably plastic.
I
It
have a
has to be.
case.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Maybe I'm
mine is
old.
plastic, just because of how much I paid for it.
Yeah.
I think mine's actually aluminum on the back, but still, it's definitely not glass.
That's wild. I just put a rubber band around it, I guess. Call it
Yeah,
fixed.
I mean, I don't know if it affects the phone at all, really, other than, yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't look great, or probably feel great in your hand. But depending on how the cameras are mounted, the moving glass could affect that possibly, or if the glass back is somewhat structural, obviously that would be an issue, but I wouldn't see why the glass would be structural at all. But yeah, I just thought it was super interesting that it's not something I've seen before.
So it's saying this is caused by battery failure due to faulty connectors that lead the battery to swelling. It is a major issue with the 4XL series, and I don't understand why Google is not supporting it properly.
Okay, so this glass back coming off is a symptom of a worse issue, the battery.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about later, actually.
There's nothing like expanding batteries to ruin your day.
Expanding, not exploding.
Yeah.
At least that's nice.
We'll get to the
So
exploding
far.
ones later.
Let's say the glass punctures your battery.
Ooh. Then you'll have
Then
a
it
hot pocket.
You will literally have a hot pocket. That's a good one.
Ooh, batteries, man. They're dangerous.
Speaking of not good,
I was
Microsoft Flight
heartbroken
Simulator.
when I opened the
Yeah.
dock at 5 p.m. and saw this article in there. Oh.
Yeah. It said that one of the developers said that the team is going to try their best to get VR support ready for the initial release. However, he also stated that they may not be able to make the title virtual reality compatible by the launch date. And, you know, the article says, I'd rather they take their time and get it right rather than rush and mess stuff up. Which is, I mean, fair, but yeah, I think a lot of people will be disappointed about that.
So I wonder if part of it is because they have to have like a 3D model for non-virtual reality and a 3D model for virtual reality. So they have to
Like the
remodel
cockpit and everything.
Yeah, they have to remodel the cockpit for every plane. Because one of the things about the other game I used to play, which I still haven't actually looked it up, was that you could just buy planes, and that's what you would fly. So you could just or you buy. I think you could buy a pack. I don't know. I got the Cessna, whatever 774, whatever it was, and that's all I flew. That's all I cared to fly.
Okay. Yeah.
But not having it launch, that kind of stinks.
Yeah. Especially like the price of the game, which we talked about last week. It's, I mean, the most expensive version of the game is like $120, right?
I'd believe it.
Yeah, I think that's what we read last week.
Yeah. Here's a cool picture here from a Twitter user. Flight Simulator on the Apple II from 1983 versus Flight Simulator from 2020.
It's a massive difference. You can barely tell the first one's even a flight simulator.
A racing game.
Yeah, it does. It looks like a racetrack, but it's, I guess, a runway. Wow. Next up, ray tracing.
Ooh, that'd be fancy.
That would be fancy.
I want to actually feel the vibrations of the plane.
Yeah, I mean, the game looks awesome. Sure, you could build an expensive seat to do that. Get the full setup.
Speaking of expensive seats...
Just don't crash, because that wouldn't be fun in that seat.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Yes.
Expensive seats. I opened this article. I now fully understand why you said expensive. This Zoom device is quite the joke.
Yes. So this is the Zoom for Home, which basically, my understanding, is a device to use specifically with the Zoom app. Calling your family or whatever, instead of grabbing your tablet or your phone or your computer or whatever, you grab your Zoom for Home and set it up. And it's basically like any other device that you can make a Zoom call on, except it's
So it's kind of like Zoom's version
$599
of a Chromebook that can't access the internet or do anything that a normal computer could do.
Yeah, that's what I get. 27-inch touchscreen, which, I mean, is kind of nice, I guess, but
Why would you need a touchscreen
I mean,
if
you
you're
can
just
do
doing
it on
video
your computer
conferencing?
or a laptop or something. Now, where I do see this having a space would be in an office building, in a conference room,
Yep.
having something like this for your team to look at and maybe interact with all the different whatever Zoom features.
Yeah.
And
I
maybe
guess-
also have a projector hooked up so that everybody can see. But
Yeah.
I think
can see
for the
all
home office, this is way overkill.
I could also see it being helpful for teachers, being able to have like one device for the call itself and the interaction, and then have them being able to have their laptop for what they would like use to research. I don't know how teaching works, but I can see it having the separation in devices. And you're gone. Oh, you're back.
I'm back. Okay. Let's see. Video. Yeah, I mean, I guess the touchscreen isn't necessary, but I guess it's kind of nice. Maybe for muting people or for switching the screens, because with Zoom, you can see multiple views at once from different people.
Yeah.
So maybe having a touchscreen makes it a little bit easier to select someone to view full screen or whatever.
It might be faster for some not so heavy computer users.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're pretty used to using a mouse, so
Like,
for
I
us, it's
prefer
not a
it.
big deal. I feel like most people are pretty used to using a mouse, but I mean, I guess having a touchscreen is kind of nice. I mean, think about some of your DJ software.
Yeah.
You wouldn't necessarily want to interact with that with just a mouse, because it is nice to have some sliders to control music.
But some of it,
But
definitely...
for Zoom, for video conferencing, do you really need all that?
Yeah. And then it's reversed too. It's like some of it I really don't want to use touch because I like the absolute precision of the mouse on the screen. And it's nice to know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But then, yeah, touch is quite nice for some of it. So, yeah, I mean, I can see it in place. But
I guess my only real comment is this shouldn't be Zoom for Home, in my opinion. It should be like Zoom for Office or something.
And should it just be called Zoom OS instead of Zoom's device?
Zoomos. Yeah. I guess the benefit of it being Zoom for Home is that there's more people, there's more like home offices than there are offices, because people share an office. So if you're marketing to individual people, maybe more people buy it. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to pass, though.
The other idea, though, if you call it for like Zoom for Office or Zoom for Business or something like that, I think you'd almost have more sales because people like business grade, not residential. True. But
yeah, that's a good point too.
That's the other side of the argument on it.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to keep the expectations low or something. I don't know. But yeah, you're right that business equipment generally does cost more.
Yeah, it costs more because people expect it to work longer.
In the same way that a gaming headset costs more than a normal headset. Just having the word gaming in there elevates the price. Having the business in there elevates the price.
Put that RGB in it.
Yeah. Get some extra FPS from the RGB.
Yeah. Speaking of the extra FPS, these extra 30 FPS that you're seeing made possible by nephew.tech.com. Aha. And this
Hey,
guy over here.
JMart Media. I didn't really do anything for it, but
You
30
tune in every
FPS.
week. Honestly, if you didn't tune in,
Hey.
if you didn't help me out, I would have quit long ago. No way I would have made it. Clearly, right? Speaking of not making it, uh,
Yeah.
Microsoft is launching something.
Launching a cloud video game service called Project X Cloud. So Mixer didn't work out, but maybe Project X Cloud will.
It
So
seems
I think
better.
we've seen this. We've talked about these things already from different companies. The new, like cloud streaming, cloud game streaming stuff. One one advantage that Microsoft has is that since they have Xbox, I think they have access to a lot of titles that some of the other companies that are doing these same things won't have. For example, Halo,
Yep.
because Halo's been like a platform exclusive on Xbox and or sometimes PC. So one advantage that Microsoft has is that they already have an in with that game, which is nice. And I'm sure probably a lot of other games too. But other than that, I mean, it's a new gaming service. I don't think they've released a price yet, but somewhere it said that
15.
if you had $15, okay.
50.
Oh, what that is, I think it says Microsoft will add Project xCloud free at no additional cost for those who pay for its Xbox Game Pass Ultimate service.
Oh, okay.
So if you have an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate already for your Xbox, and you also have a PC, then you also get this service included with what you
So
pay for
it's going to be
the
less than
Xbox
15
Game
a
Pass.
month if you don't have Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, yeah. Otherwise, yeah.
So, I mean, it sounds interesting. I wonder if it's going to fail exactly how Google Stadia failed. Probably.
I mean, probably at least in the short term.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, people with an Xbox are probably just going to play the Xbox, not use it on the PC. But
Yep.
I
Now,
don't know.
part of me is curious because Google's doing it with Google Stadia, and now Microsoft's doing it with Xbox X Cloud, whatever.
Mhm.
So, like, Nintendo doesn't quite do it though with their Nintendo store, where you can just buy the old games and downloads. But I can't
Yeah.
imagine it's too far away for Nintendo to start doing it. I wonder how many of these
Mhm.
big companies have just like these poor guys sitting in the code like we have to figure out how to make this compressible, transmittable.
Yeah.
It looks like a team of 8 people on each company just like freaking out because that's all they do all day is try
Mhm.
to figure out how to
Mhm.
make this technology work right
Yeah.
because no one's been
Yeah,
able to
and
do it
so far
yet.
they're struggling. Yeah. But I think that eventually this will definitely be a successful business idea. I think that once more people have fiber internet and faster
Mhm.
internet, I think that will fix a lot of the problems that this technology has. It'll basically make it where you don't have to optimize the technology as much because like
Yeah,
having fiber means that you don't have to be as
because I forgot where it was.
as
It was
bandwidth careful.
probably an Eli the computer guy said it a long time ago. I think I don't remember where I heard it.
Mhm.
Was that when computers were first coming out, it was all I forget the fancy term for it, but central focus. So all these colleges would have these weaker computers that would try to talk to
Mhm.
a main server computer, and that was the powerful thing. And then the
Mhm.
technology advanced, and then every college had their own database instead of relying
Yeah.
on contacting. So everyone had their own strong
Mhm.
computer, and then it
Mhm.
happened to the consumer market, which is why we have these, $1,000, $4,000, $20,000 computers in our house, and
Mhm.
now it's going back the other way, where we're getting these $300 Chromebooks in the houses now, and these
Yeah.
mega companies are
Mhm.
building out these huge cloud servers. And that'll happen within like 20 years, 30 years or so.
Yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about it that way, but yeah, it makes sense.
So
Huh.
that maybe in like another 5 years or so, we would be all the way over again.
Hmm.
So we would all just be running cheapo. We all would be running cheapo computers, except for the few outliers, of course.
Yeah.
And then it will start to turn again. I think when some new technology rolls out, and everyone's like,
Hmm.
we could have even lower latency. We can go from zero point 0.5 milliseconds to zero point
Hmm.
0.3 milliseconds.
Yeah. Or as people start gaming in 4K and eventually 8K or 12K,
Yeah.
because then you run into that bandwidth issue again, where your internet service just isn't fast enough to be able to stream games at that resolution. So,
Yeah, that's very true.
although I don't know if gaming at those resolutions will really happen.
I wonder if
Maybe
it wouldn't
VR.
be,
VR is one thing.
maybe not resolution, but maybe more of an MMO case. So instead of playing games where there's only like 12 people or like, 20 people versus 20 people, you're playing
Hmm.
these World War MMO games where it's 200,000 people versus 200,000 people or something.
Yeah.
And these
Yeah.
giant VR games. Or if they get
Yeah.
hyper realistic on everything.
Hmm. Because VR is one thing that I could see potentially having an issue with the cloud gaming service. Because if you have any latency with VR, you're going to be so nauseous
Yeah,
and
it's very
throwing up.
terrible.
So I could see that being a reason that people wouldn't use a cloud gaming service. Which you never know. VR could become more popular in 5 years, like you said, and people go from using the cloud service back to their own
Yeah.
personal computers. Be really interesting to see.
But things are still moving to the cloud, it looks like, with another article from Microsoft taking
Oh yeah.
Minecraft off of Amazon. Whether Amazon likes it or not, it looks like. This article is by CNBC. It was just the first one that came up on news.google.com/technology. Microsoft-owned Minecraft will stop using Amazon's cloud or Amazon Web Services. I'm sure they're
Yeah.
using. So, from the slight skimming I did of the article, it looks like that they're just wanting to move it to their own servers because they have sold 200 million copies of the game. I think since they've owned it.
Wow, that's a ton. And they haven't owned it for that long in Minecraft years, right?
We're gonna double check, but I'm pretty sure
Because
that it's
Minecraft's been
just...
around a long time. As of May, it says. Minecraft has since grown into the world's best-selling games with over 200 million copies sold as of May. Oh, okay. Not since May, but as of May.
But then 126 million accounts play it each month.
That's a very high
Account number.
retention rate or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Of actual active accounts, yeah.
But yeah, I hope that the verification servers don't go down as much as Microsoft's update services let us down with their updates.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't really see any bad in it. I mean,
No, I mean, in my opinion, most of the cloud hosting services are pretty much the same. There may be some advantages to each one, but it makes sense for Microsoft to use their own services to host their own game.
So, do you think Microsoft will lower the price of Minecraft if they're now saving money?
No. They might raise it.
Now, do you think they're actually saving money, or do you think it's still costing them more? Do you think it costs them more to host it themselves? Simply because I would assume their web services are smaller than Amazon's web services.
I think that Amazon Web Service is probably the biggest like cloud service out there. I think that they must be saving money by switching over. I mean, it'll still cost them money, like you say. It's not going to be
Yeah.
free because they're hosting it for themselves. But yeah, I think in the long run they'll save money doing it that way.
Huh. I don't see in the article how much they would be saving, but it's curious.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, I don't know how I can tell customers to turn on their system restore any harder. Because I swear every month we talk about this. And every time it's slightly different, but it's the exact same story.
Mm-hmm.
This is on windowslatest.com. Microsoft confirms Windows 10 bug causes internet connectivity issues. So if you can't watch this live stream, chances are you have this. Looks like the workaround is going into the registry and changing from a 0 to a 1 under some probing registry value.
Okay, enable active probing, yeah.
Why? I have a hard time believing that this is on accident anymore.
It's so many just random bugs too. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
so
it seems to always be something different. But it's always something.
Yeah, one thing, because like now that Microsoft's changed from their you buy the software and it pretty much stays with a few updates to a just continuously always updating, so that it's the last operating system. However hard you want to believe that. Then in Windows 10 they created the Windows Insider program, which was made for people who wanted the bleeding edge version of Windows 10. That they warn you will have bugs, but that's the idea, is that you get the newest of the features in risk of having bugs, which would be great for people who want the latest features. But then my customers don't use the Windows Insider program. I don't even use the Windows Insider program.
Mm-hmm.
And we're still getting this many bugs falling through. And I think it was last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, we were talking about it, where people were submitting the error on the OneDrive issue, and they still rolled out the updates with the OneDrive issue. Like, I feel like, come on, you at least gotta try.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think they're understaffed and overworked? Too many mandatory overtime hours over there?
I would think probably not, but maybe. I don't know. Microsoft's such a big company that
Yeah.
I think they'd be able to have enough staff to not be too overworked, But hey, maybe not.
Maybe not.
Apparently not.
So, what really bothers me on that is that people pay for Windows 10, and then they're having all these bugs. So I wonder if Microsoft could create like a Windows 10 Insider program, which they have. Then they have Windows 10 free, which is just like, hey, you're going to get like the second wave of bugs. And then have the Windows 10 paid. And those are the people who don't want to deal with the crap that the Windows 10 free people use and the Windows 10 insiders use.
That would so it's almost like a beta, beta testers for Windows. If you use Windows free, you may have some bugs, but hey, you can report those bugs to us and hopefully get them fixed before the paid people use it.
And chances are the people that are going to use the free one are people that are more techie, because they're like, hey, I can save $1. I'll just have to deal with some problems.
Yeah.
It's like a mechanic that buys an $800 car and then drives it for the next 47 years. They're
Yeah.
like,
I know there's going to be issues, but I know that I have the skills to
yeah,
work through those issues. Whereas the majority of people
are
wouldn't
not
want to
going to
deal with
change
that
their
stuff.
registry.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be fine doing it with my computer. I'd be really
Mhm.
pissed off if I came home and had no internet and had to Google
Yeah.
the problem on my phone.
Mhm.
But the fact that I would be able to figure it out is nice.
Mhm.
But a lot of people are going to come home, not connect to their internet, bring it to me in the morning, and they're like, I'm paying for Windows 10.
Yeah.
That's aggravating.
Speaking of aggravating, wow, that first image of that phone looks terrible. Or is that a Switch or something? It looks like a handheld gaming device.
I have no idea what the device is, but it's not usable anymore. That's for
No.
sure. Let's see. So when I first saw this article headline, I thought it was something totally different, but it's still really cool. So this is over on Gizmodo.com. Hacks can trick power bricks into starting fires, which is, they're talking really weird. So
Mhm.
it's the actual power brick or the wall wart itself, the part that goes from AC power to USB.
Mhm.
Apparently, if you could, with some of them, for the quick charge, let's see, they tested a lot here. So they loaded it onto 35 different power bricks out of the 234 available models currently on sale. So they tested 35 out of the 234 that were quick charge certified, I believe it was.
Okay.
18 of those chargers, which were 8 different vendors, were susceptible to the attack. So they had
Wow.
a lot of 234 to choose from. They chose 35 of them and tested those
half of those.
35, and half of them were susceptible to this
Wow.
firmware hack. So apparently, from my understanding, is that when you plug in like your phone or something, your phone sends a little hello signal back to the charger to tell it how fast it can charge, which is probably true. That way, your charger can either put out the 5 watts of charging, which is 1 amp, or the 10 watts, which is the quick charge 2.0, I believe, or the 15, which is quick charge 3.0. I think those are the right numbers. But your phone will tell it how many watts it can take by sucking up those amps. And this firmware hack, I think, just puts out more, like, pushes or something. I don't fully understand beyond that. But there's a fire, and that's supposed to be on the inside of a phone. That's the charger cable. They had to blur out the charger cable brand because the cable's not actually a problem here.
Yeah.
And then it just plugs right in. So that would be your phone board. So that's the battery right there. I would assume that purple wrapped would be the battery. And yeah, you can make your phone do this by using a firmware hack on a little wall wart or power brick. So one thing that's always teased in the computer repair forums is to take USB sticks, load it up with malware where you plug it in, it will instantly infect a computer, and then go to your local big box stores and just set them like on shelves or in the parking lot, or just like go to a walking trail and just drop a couple on the ground, and then you get business. Like, so like this would be something that phone repair places would try to do, but would totally backfire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you've gone too far with the scam.
Those pictures are crazy.
It's hard to believe that was a phone.
Yeah. Dang. It's a crazy world.
Yeah, so don't trust a random charger on the street.
Yeah. If you're walking through the airport and you see a charger plugged into the wall, maybe don't use it.
Yeah. Unless you hate your phone and you want to get kicked out of an airport.
Yeah, right?
That'll definitely happen.
Yep. No
Ooh.
Samsung phones in the airport and no chargers anymore either. Nah, just kidding.
How
That'd
wild
be pretty
would
crazy
that
to do.
be? That's all the news that I saw for the week. Not anything super exciting.
Yeah, it's all the interesting niche stuff that I saw too.
I got it right here actually. A family member gave me one of these, so I might try streaming with it tomorrow at work.
Okay.
I'm hoping to get it on camera. It's just out of frame. It is this. You've probably seen
A cord
before. It is a very fancy cord. And then that right there, let's see if we can do it. We're probably not going to be able to. Let's try to straighten it up a little bit. On the end of the cord, it's a blur.
Camera?
It's a camera.
Oh.
So it's made for like mechanics or plumbers or people that need to see things in different areas. But it's a webcam.
Yeah, like looking up underneath the car.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a
or
webcam.
like even into engine blocks and such. But yeah, it's a webcam, so you just plug it into the computer and it just acts like a webcam. It films at almost 1080p. So this was the weirdest thing. So I was like, I wonder what resolution. I just assumed 720 because, you know, why assume anything different? Resolution 1600 by 1200.
Okay, it's kind of a interesting middle ground there.
Yeah, it's a box though, which is why, because then it can scale all the way down to 640 by 480. Okay. So I'm guessing it's doing a 4x3, like an old TV box style. Yeah. Which I guess would make sense. It's using the full sensor at that point.
You said you're going to try and stream with it tomorrow?
But
working on computers or
I might
cars?
Try streaming, or I might definitely computers. Cars are not a forte.
Maybe changing out a horn or two.
Yeah, right. Good Lord. Hey, they still work. I tested them yesterday.
Nice.
Live action testing. All right. Yeah, I might stream with it. I might just plug it in, see if it works, and be like, cool.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I definitely want to do more streaming at work on laptops. It's just a lot of them are so boring.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch them. Otherwise, that's pretty much all the excitement over here. I've done some 3D printing stuff, but other than that, nothing interesting.
Okay, yep.
It's all been tools for 3D
the ball
printing.
joints that we looked at. Yeah.
Yep. So I got one printed that I liked, and it's actually now glued into the car.
Okay, the shorter one?
Yes. Super short.
Has it melted yet?
No. And I got into the car, when was it? Saturday for work? Sunday afternoon, because I had to help a friend run a cable. And the car said it was 107 degrees.
Wow.
I was like, it's not going to get hotter this year. Like,
yeah.
That's good.
And that stuff melts at like 200 something, right? Or
yeah, 230. 230
okay, yeah,
Celsius.
So Celsius, which is
so
crazy.
Yeah,
We're
way out there. We should be good.
Your car will be gone before that piece of plastic is gone.
We're gonna hope so, right? Oh man! But other than that, nothing over here. That's all done.
That's all I got.
Sweet. I can't believe we made it. 45
40 something minutes. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, 44 and a half now. So by the time I finish making this awkward, it'll be 45 minutes.
We'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, we're going to talk about all the things next week.